One thing to keep in mind, as we go into winter is it can be a discouraging time of year. I mean, because this is when we see most of our hives die. Now, we could have had really weak hives through the summer and through the fall, but once it starts getting cooler is when we actually see hives die and fade from 4 frames of bees down to nothing. It's super common, and I know I've said it a lot, so I don't mean to be repetitive, but this equipment, this is a dead hive that we pulled, and this equipment is where your value is. You've got boxes of drawn out honeycomb, often still with honey and pollen in them. You can super start a hive next year. If you dump a package in here or drop a nook in here, they're going to explode because all these resources are already there, ready to go. So, a big piece of this year, if you're new to beekeeping, was getting all this drawn out equipment. And this is where so much value is. So don't get discouraged. As an industry, we lose 40 to 50% of hives as an industry per year. It's not uncommon for new beekeepers to lose 80% of their beehives. Or, if you only have a couple hives, it's not uncommon to lose both of them. So that's not an abnormal thing. Don't get discouraged. Replenish your equipment the next year and take what you've learned this year and apply it to the next year. So one quick thing is, when you're looking at your dead out equipment, a lot of times it'll have some honey in it. And this is a good example. This is a frame that has a lot of honey in it. And you can see the comb, the capped honey, kind of looks a little white and almost a little powdery. That's very normal. Don't worry about that. Even if sometimes you'll see a little bit of mold, a little bit of mildew. And that's not a big deal. The bees will quickly clean that up for next year and reuse it. So when I have boxes like this of drawn out comb with some honey in it and some pollen in it, you can just store them in your garage. Put them in a trash bag to keep them clean, and you should be just fine storing them pretty much anywhere throughout the winter. Wax moths and small hive beetles are not going to be a problem because it's too cold. So I'm not going to worry about wax moths and small hive beetles really until we're no longer getting freezes at night, which is, for Texas, sometime in March. Across the South, it's March or April. You might even be getting up into May or June, further northern states. So until the nights are no longer freezing, you don't have to worry about wax moths. And usually by that point, you're ready to use this equipment again. So, in a trash bag in your garage, it should be safe. You can leave it outside a couple of nights where we get a really hard freeze, and that way you make sure that all of the wax moth or small hive beetle eggs are killed. That way you don't have to worry about them hatching out in your garage and making a mess. But other than that, store it and plan on reusing it for next year. And you can, even if there's a little bit of wax moth damage on the frames, a little bit of small hive beetle damage, a little bit of mold or mildew, the bees can clean all that up very, very quickly and easily. So unless a frame is 50% or more destroyed, you can use it. I would recommend getting it out of your bee yard and storing it somewhere safe, because mice will move in here over the fall and winter. So get it picked up, get it stored, so the mice don't make a mess or varmints throughout the winter. But once you're stored and safe, you've got the perfect starter kit ready to go for next year.